welcome to episode number 94 of the Solo Gamer Podcast. You know, I guess all through the 90s episodes, I'm just going to say this every time, like, we're getting close, and I don't know what the fuck we're going to do for 100 here.
Dude, I don't know. We got to start thinking about it, though.
We have to start thinking about it, but you know what? We're using all of our awesome guest hosts prior to the 100th episode, so maybe we'll have to just bring everybody back and do some crazy-ass thing.
Right, a reunion.
Yeah. So, you guys, we have an awesome episode for you today. We are joined by one of the hosts of the Generations Behind podcast, Craig. Welcome in, man. Welcome to the show. We're super happy to have you this week.
Hello. Thanks for having me. Very excited to be back. Always a pleasure to be on this show. And it's always a pleasure to talk to you guys. I'm excited to get into the topic of the show for this one because it's my bread and butter.
This is your bread and butter. Absolutely. I think it was like a little over a week ago because we knew that Kyle was going to be out of the country for a couple weeks. And last week we had planned, we were talking about coming up with ideas. And one of the things I've been thinking about lately is just like digital games and physical games and collecting and buying all this stuff. And I was like, I would love to just have a conversation about that. And if we do that, we should definitely get Craig on because he's like the guy who we have to discuss this. So I'm really glad you were able to join us for that. Let me bring in the old normies, Taylor and Kyle. What is going on, guys? Taylor, welcome in. I hope your week has 2 weeks actually.
Yeah.
We haven't seen you in a couple weeks. Has treated you well.
Yeah, no, it's been a nice couple weeks here. We were out of town about a week ago or so to go to Flagstaff and hang out with some of Anna's friends up there. So had a good little weekend, but it was kind of one of those things where we planned to come back a little bit too late. So unfortunately we had to cancel the episode. But yeah, it's been a good couple weeks.
Son of a bitch.
I hate you. But it's been a good time, man. Glad to be here and glad to be on a show with you again. And Craig, it feels good.
Yeah, and Kyle, welcome back. Welcome back to the
Thank you.
U.S. of A., the great state of Washington. How are you doing, man? Catch us up a little bit on your... I know you've probably had to answer this question like 50,000 times since you've been back, but tell us a little bit about your journey and everything. We want to hear about the Philippines, man. You lucky bastard.
I know. I wish I could go back. Other than the fact that that last day before I came back, it was starting to get a little rainy. Some thunderstorms were going, so definitely planned the trip right where I needed to because it's about to be monsoon season there. So, but no, it was incredible. Went to an island called Bantayan Island, which is in like kind of central Philippines. It's a small little island in the area. Quite the journey to get there. Obviously, you've got the flight just to the Philippines, and from Seattle, that's a 13 to 14 hour flight by itself. Then once I landed, I get there and I have to fly to another island because it's just like a bunch of islands over in the Philippines. So you go to central Philippines, which is called Cebu because it's broken into 3 sections. So fly to Cebu, that was another hour. Once you get to Cebu, we had to take a van up to the northern port of Cebu, which was about a 6-hour drive.
Oh, my God.
Oh, damn.
Holy shit.
Then you
It's a
get
long
to
day.
that port, and then you've got to take a 2-hour ferry to Bantayan Island. And then thankfully, that's just a tiny island, so everything's close at that point. But totally, absolutely worth it. It did get a little sketchy for a little bit because I was starting to lose battery on my phone, and I had some issues with accessing the ATM when I had gotten to the Philippines. For some reason, my card was just not allowing it, which is frustrating. So I'm like trying to call Wells Fargo, but I also I hadn't paid for like a SIM card yet. So like I don't really have service out here right now. So I'm not trying to get like a $3,000 bill from my cell phone company for making phone calls. So I was on the ferry. It was about like an hour into this ferry. I'm completely by myself going to a remote island. I don't have money and I don't have cell service. And it was at that moment where I was like, I could just disappear and nobody would ever see me again and nothing would happen, you know? But thankfully, I ended up getting a text message from my cell phone company and found out I actually do have free roaming for about like 30 days, which I had no idea. And so I was like, oh, actually, I'll just turn on my phone. And then everything was fine after that. So,
Phew, big sigh of relief.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
started to sound like a horror movie for a minute there. So I'm
It
glad
did.
things turned around.
it did. It did.
Yeah, you're
but-
about to be on Craig's horror movie podcast here.
Bring it back
Real
just for you.
soon.
Locked up abroad.
Kind of, honestly, probably would have looked a little bit like this Until Dawn 2.
Yeah, right?
Jungle and
Yeah, it got a little weird. It's funny, the fear that runs through your mind when you're, in a remote location and you don't have cell service, how quickly that you feel pretty unsafe. But it's also kind of a fun experience at the same time because you kind of have nothing really to depend on but yourself in that moment. So, anyway, so it was fun, a lot of fun. It's my first time doing a solo trip. Batayan Island was incredible. Surprisingly, a lot of really good food for it being like a remote, small little island. Couple of restaurants that I went there where it was really, really good food. It was finally the first Mexican restaurant I tried in all of the Philippines. It was truly Mexican food. Usually it's got like a little Filipino twist, which is not terrible. I'm not complaining. It's still good, but it's always got a little bit of a different flavor profile where I'm like, yeah, you guys are not really hitting the mark here with Mexican food.
it's funny because like a Mexican place would be the last place I'd be trying to go if I was in the Philippines. Like you can get good Mexican food anywhere over here.
You can, yeah. I mean, I tried a lot of different kinds of foods there, of course, and tried all the classics. The thing is like you can get good Filipino food basically anywhere, even at your hotel. Like they'll serve you breakfast, and like the people there, obviously that's the type of food that they cook on a day-to-day basis. And so anybody there can cook you like a traditional Filipino breakfast, and it's really, really good. So you don't really go looking for that. That's just kind of everywhere you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it definitely had a lot of Filipino food. I mean, that was a big reason why I go there is for the food. And then, yeah, it's just incredible having a nice little villa of your own, like right on the beach. And I've sent you a video of it, Ian, and having breakfast just right out on my porch and then looking out to the beach side. And then as soon as I'm done with breakfast, just walk over and go lay on the beach and just have like a slow, calm, like really peaceful morning to start the day. But yeah, there's a lot of cool things to see there. I met some, I ended up gaining, I actually got one of it. I got this guy's number, but I met a group of German guys that were out there on the island, and they were a lot of fun. And it was really cool. Like certain moments when we were having drinks and good food and we're all talking and we were at this table and there was like a couple of Filipino girls and then the German guys were there. And then I was like the only, English native person there. And so it was just cool because like we all connected on speaking English, but then at moments the like groups of Filipinos would start speaking Tagalog, and then the group of German people would start speaking German, and it's like just this collective like cohesion of like just different cultures and languages, and it's just like a really fun experience that I really hope that if you are listening, that I hope you go out and try to experience for yourself, because it's really hard to explain, but it's a very cool moment when you can kind of look outside of that moment and be like, wow, I'm kind of experiencing something that I've never really experienced before, and it's authentic and genuine.
Hell yeah.
It was a really, really cool moment. So ended up getting a friend out of it. So, next time I'm out in the Philippines, I'll probably link up with Tim. His name's Tim. Shout out to Tim.
Shout out Tim.
Big shout out to Tim.
Does Tim live in a major or like well-known German city?
Oh, I forget the name of the city. It's not. It's a smaller town. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a lot of really cool conversation. Obviously, Germans really care about their cars and beer. So he's kind of they're all kind of snobs about it. Like any beer that's not German is like not actually beer, but then we talked about politics and the difference between American politics and German politics. It's just really cool to kind of experience all that and get their perspective on how they view our leadership here and and whatnot. So Yeah, it was a great time, and then went back to Manila after that. So I was in Bantayan for a week. Went back to Manila for a little bit less than a week. Love just going around to like the different malls and stuff and trying out all the like. There's just like so much good food in Metro Manila, especially when you get into like the BGC area, which is like their really really, I guess bougie part of town, because there's definitely some areas where it'll get a little rough, but there's a lot of like really really top notch restaurants there that you can try, and they're all pretty affordable too. So yeah, I was just kind of walking around and just eating a bunch of food for that last week.
My kind of vacation. So
I was gonna say that's the best part of travel is the food for me. So.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I absolutely. There's lots of it. I love going to like historical places, or that kind of a thing is fun and can be really awe-inspiring. Nature, whatever the case may be. But yeah, I mean, it's all between. All those events are between each meal that you're gonna go try.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I have not been able to travel very much over the last 4 or 5 years. So really, ever since COVID, like there's just not been. I've flown down to Phoenix once since then, and that was just for like 2 days, and then I had to come right back. And man, it's weird because I used to have the travel bug and I travel all the time, but man, ever since COVID, it's been difficult. Haven't been able to wrench free of life and get going. So one day we'll get back to it, because Alicia's a huge travel bug too. Like both of us are. So
Yeah, you guys will get back
man.
there.
we'll figure it out.
For sure.
We'll figure it out. Well, hell yeah, man. We're glad you're home. We're glad you're safe, and that you had a great time. Sounds like you had an even better time this time than the last time. So that's awesome.
Yeah, boy, it was hot though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Humid.
yeah, really really rough. And the hardest part I think about it too is that it only tops out about like 95, 96 degrees. So it never really because we get over 100 here, but it's different because it's incredibly humid. We're talking like 80 to like 90% humidity, and it's like
Yeah.
and
That's
when
crazy.
it's 95 degrees on top of that, and it just feels like there's just something like squeezing your lungs. It's just heavy. So that's like the worst part about it. But as long as you're dressed appropriately and you try to stay out of the sun as much as you can, it's totally fine. Which I was hoping I'd get a tan, but man, I still white as hell out here. I was in the sun a lot.
It's a good try.
Yeah, but
That's
Yeah.
funny. You protected yourself too well.
yeah, probably. But there's nothing like I know we talked about it. There's nothing like that when you come back, and I took that deep breath of my Pacific Northwest air and just exhaled, and I was like,
When it's not just like peeing, because I feel like if you had landed directly into Wenatchee, it's not quite the same. I mean, it's nice,
Yeah.
but it's that like kind of cool salt air in Seattle just has
Yes.
a very specific. Like it's after you mentioned that, like right as you had mentioned that, I was getting randomly suggested reels on Instagram from people landing in Seattle saying that first breath of Seattle air, and it's just people being, as they get
I know you too well.
get off the the train, and it's like, okay, so this is like a thing. This is not just me every time I get back.
oh yeah, there's nothing like it.
It's definitely a thing. It's
the
fun.
algorithm is too strong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jesus, no kidding. It's scary strong. It's because I mean, I think I got a little notification down here. It's like microphone in use by Google Chrome. It's like, okay, well, they're hearing everything I'm saying, so
Yeah.
it's all going right back to them.
Lastly,
It's all a
lastly,
lost
one
cause.
sec.
They know everything about us.
Oh
Sorry.
yeah, absolutely. No, yeah, our data is all commoditized. It's over.
I know we're not really talking about games that we've been playing, but I did get into Baldur's Gate 3
Really?
quite a bit, and so I'm about like 20-ish hours or so into it, just
So
playing on my
you
handheld.
You started Baldur's Gate 3 before finishing KCD 2, and now you have two massive RPGs that you
Well, no, so here's the thing though. Baldur's Gate 3 is strictly on the handheld, so
Oh, okay.
yeah. Which it runs really well, by the way.
Does it?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Hell yeah. Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. Yeah, I like having that kind of division to be able to like, well, if I'm playing on my handheld, I'm playing this. It's usually ESO for me. Uh, ESO they actually pulled it early. It was going to be in June, but it ended up happening in like early May. The Xbox Play Anywhere thing. So if you play on the console, you can play your Xbox console characters on the Xbox server via PC. So
Nice.
now
That's so nice.
I installed locally ESO to my handheld and can play on either console or my handheld or my PC now. So I'm just like, this is the fucking dream, man. This is great.
I'm pretty sure I have characters made on all three.
Oh yeah, I do too. I think I deleted some. Like I used to go. I had one for PlayStation for a while. I deleted all those characters, but
I was gonna say, if only there's a way I can recover my Stadia character.
you're
The Stadia character.
Stadia, man. Maybe I wish you could, because did it have its own server?
I'm pretty sure it did, if I remember. It's been so long, but I was
okay.
I was a Stadia diehard because I had great internet, so I was like, this is perfect for me.
Yeah.
I loved it.
And it's funny that you say that'll actually. I would love to kind of reach back to this conversation because that's some of the stuff we're going to talk about today. Hey, there it is, dude. That's
This is
gonna
my
become a collector's
go-to
item.
controller. The Stadia controller is the best controller of all time. I'm not even kidding.
I'll fight you hard on that, but I
It's
appreciate
so good.
I appreciate. I can just tell that's not true because the analog sticks are
All right.
parallel. Come on, now. It is a nice. It's a nice controller, and I remember feeling that way when it first came out. And like Stadia was interesting. I remember feeling like this could be pretty cool if
They're just
if
a little
this
too
takes
early.
off.
A little too early.
Yeah, they pulled a Microsoft. They're just like, people are not ready for this. It's a terrible idea.
Somehow Amazon Luna's still kicking. So
yeah, what?
and that runs way worse, in my opinion. So
yeah, it's amazing they're still around. And then you've got, of course, NVIDIA. It's NVIDIA Shield. Is that what it is?
Shield, yeah.
that one I have not tried. So
Neither have I. And then obviously Xbox is doing it as well, and they're trying to make more inroads there. So we're all here because I got this idea to have this. I mean, not that like it's an incredibly original idea. I think we've done a conversation like this on the show at some point in the past, but a few weeks ago, about a month ago now, I had a gig with my band in Seattle, and it was in the middle of the week. So I took the next day off because I didn't want to have to drive back over to Wenatchee and go to work. I was not going to deal with that. So I just took the next day off, and we grabbed a cheap Airbnb right in the area. And I went to a Pink Gorilla,
Nice.
which is a well-known small local Seattle chain of used video game stores. And I've always wanted to go in there, and I just kind of where they're located, they just aren't really in the neighborhoods that I tend to spend time in when I go to Seattle and go to the Seattle area. So I never really found myself there. So we were really close to one, like almost walking distance. It's like a short drive. And I went in there, and they had a bunch of stuff that I didn't even realize I kind of would want.
Mm-hmm.
There was like, I got myself a copy of the Deus Ex Invisible War on OG Xbox. And
Nice.
I got a copy of Resident Evil 5 on PS3 that was like beautiful. Like it looked like it had just been taken out of the shrink wrap, basically.
Nice.
And then there were some other games I was interested in, but they were beat up and they had like a gross sticker on them that I knew it would be just a bitch to get off of there, and like it would probably not look right. So I just went through this process for the first time in a while. And I was just started thinking about it, like, oh, this would be cool to do with like Taylor and Kyle and Craig and all these people who like really know this and might have thoughts about this. It's like I kind of am back into collecting again. I had sort of stopped. I felt like, I don't know. I just started buying digital more lately, and there's some games that I wanted, and I used to have this idea that's like I just want to have my collection reflect only specifically my interests and what I would play and what I like. But I'm kind of opening that up a little bit more to be like, I feel like if there's a really seminal game for a platform, even if it's not maybe my favorite thing, I would still maybe want that. Like I'm kind of starting to reanalyze my collection, and I like collecting things. I used to collect Black Series Star Wars stuff. but I'm kind of like done with Star Wars for the most part now, so I don't want to collect those anymore. So it's like I do get that itch, and this is kind of the thing for me is I want to go back and start doing again. And so I just thought it would make for a good conversation, both your thoughts, everyone's thoughts on collecting, on physical video games, on our memories of physical media, game stops and game crazies and EB games and all those kinds of, maybe kind of looking back a little bit on that. And then collector's editions, that kind of stuff, the statues. Maybe if you guys have anything that like the pride of your collection you want to talk about. Very general. I'll prompt us a little bit, but just a basic conversation about everything physical games, physical media, game collecting, and also how you interact with the digital world now as well. Because I'm definitely not someone who's like, I only buy games physically ever. Because that's not where I am either. I'm kind of in the middle. So I just wanted to talk to you guys about that. Craig, I feel like I don't know how much Kyle knows about your depth of knowledge of collecting, of video game collecting and everything. So
I have a sickness.
I
Put it
actually
lightly.
I follow you on TikTok, Craig. I've got an idea,
you do.
which is why I was thinking it's like this is perfect that Craig's here because we brought on the professional.
Yeah,
that's why I wanted him here. Just because I feel like if you anywhere you want to take this, like you can talk to us about your collection or your experience collecting or like how you feel about physical games. Just take us somewhere in that realm and we'll follow you. But maybe catch us up a little bit on your experience with it, and we'll just kind of naturally go from there.
Yeah, so I guess I could start maybe with my history of collecting a little bit to tell you guys what I'm into, what I like to go for, things like that. Taylor will know Fallout games in Arizona. There's a few locations. That is kind of where my interest began. You know, really, like a lot of people, it actually began with like watching like YouTubers and things like that, right? You watch, whether it be the Angry Video Game Nerd or any of these like reviewers from back in the day, like Normal Boost guys like Peanut Butter Gamer and John Tron and the Completionist and all these different people. And it gets you, at least for me, it's like that was kind of my introduction to a lot of older stuff that I missed out as a kid. Because I grew up with like N64 onward. So like anything Super Nintendo, NES, it's like that was all before my time. It's like, for all I know, Link to the Past didn't exist until maybe 16 years ago when I first heard about it in a YouTube video or something, right? But it started when I found a copy of Earthbound, a famously always expensive game for the Super Nintendo, that I found out about via YouTube through The Completionist because I discovered his YouTube channel and he did a review on Earthbound, and I was like, that game looks really cool. I want to play it. So, of course, I look it up and I'm like, oh, cool, this is way too expensive. I'm going to learn how to download an emulator and play this illegally. So I do that, and I play it for a little while, have a good time. I go to Fallout at some point with some friends in Arizona, and I see a copy of Earthbound. It was $180, and I was like, that's a lot of money, but I just got my tax return, so screw it, I'm going to buy a copy of Earthbound. And I go and get my copy of Earthbound. I tested out on my friend's Super Nintendo because I didn't even have a Super Nintendo yet. So I was getting this cartridge with nothing to even play it on. And I was like, this is so cool. And then, you go down the rabbit hole of like the metal Jesuses of YouTube and all these people. You find out about things like Pink Gorillas. You kind of research retro games and see where people are getting their games. What's some cool stuff that you could look into? What are some rare stuff to look out for? Things like that. And growing up, the GameCube was always my favorite console. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start collecting for the GameCube a bit. So I start looking up, like, what's an expensive, getting rare GameCube game I could maybe try to look out for. And the series I got into at the time recently, this would have been like 2014, 2015, around there, was Fire Emblem. So I found out about Fire Emblem on the GameCube. I'm like, that's cool. Didn't know Fire Emblem's even been around that long. I've only ever played the 3DS one. So I picked that up. It was like $100-ish, a more expensive, kind of hard to find game, lower print. And then I start getting, YouTube suggested videos on people with complete sets of collections. And I'm like, man, wouldn't that be cool to own every GameCube game? So then I did that. And then, throughout the years, I've bought and sold a ton of stuff. It's like, I've had a complete N64 set at one time, a complete Wii U set, a complete Game Gear set. I don't have any of those anymore. I still have a couple games here and there, but not the full sets. Right now, I do have a full 3DS set, a full PlayStation Vita set, minus a couple of limited run titles. I'm still missing about 30 of those, and I'm currently working on a Sega Dreamcast set. So I go hard when I collect, unfortunately, for my wallet. But I do enjoy it. I think it's cool to have full libraries. I've definitely curated what I try to buy a bit more as time goes on, because you only have so much space, so much money, all these things. You get older and you get bills once you move out of your parents' house, these things. So it's like I've definitely slowed down. I've definitely tried to stick to things I'm truly more passionate about as time goes on. But it's
So what you're saying is, if the world ends, we're going to your house.
Right, yeah. He'll have the
hope you like
archives.
handheld games.
Right.
But I do like a
If
little
the
bit of
world ends
everything,
later
honestly.
on, we can all maybe we'll have like an infinity glove of collections. We'll have everything
Exactly.
together. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. I do collect a little bit of everything. I love everything. You know, I don't discriminate at any console. Every console has at least some games worth owning and playing. And you know, the convenience of digital is great, but it's still always fun to just have a physical representation of something that you own on the shelf. Even if most of the time it's just going to sit there and collect dust forever, for being realistic. But I think that it's the funnest thing to collect for is video games. You know, it's like it's the most versatile, usually the biggest bang for your buck. You have lots of things to look for. So if you care about completeness, you know, all the inserts, posters for games, advertisements, coupons, whatever. It's like I try to only collect complete in box, you know, either all or nothing. So no loose cartridges for me. I'm either going to have Chrono Trigger with the map, the poster, everything, or I'm not going to have Chrono Trigger at all. But I think that it's the most fun way to collect. And yeah, I kind of just ramble for a little bit, but I'm interested in
Why you're here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I would love to know, you know, maybe guy by guy here, if we want to go, you know, maybe favorite console, things you're collecting right now, maybe thought about collecting in the future. I'm not sure where you guys are all at right now. I know, Ian, if you want to start, I know you're very into Xbox. So have you kind of thought about your Xbox journey or expanding past Xbox, or how you looking?
Yeah, man. It's weird. I'm not used to having anything. I'm not used to having topics passed to me. It's like, oh, this is nice. Okay, cool.
Right.
Let me tell you there.
Run with it.
Yeah, the Xbox thing is funny because there was a moment I kind of stopped collecting just generally, or even buying games physically at all, largely because of Xbox and their trend towards not even printing discs, and or the prevailing idea and thought on the internet is that most discs don't have the game, or don't actually have the game's content on them. You're just installing from the web, you know, just installing the game. It's just
The
a key,
internet.
basically, a digital key. So that kind of made me not want to collect them anymore. And then more recently, I'm trying to remember the context, but there's a YouTuber that I watch, Mr. Matty Plays,
Love him.
and he was doing what? God damn, what was the? I'm struggling to remember what the actual like reasoning he was thinking about this, but he found a website called Does It Play?
Excellent site.
And excellent site, and the sheer number of Xbox games that are on the disc, it made me realize that like that's actually kind of BS. The whole kind of thought that
or at
all
least
of
more
these
of them
discs-
have more content on it than you'd think they would.
Well, because I
Yeah.
think a lot of people confuse downloading updates and, you know, stuff like
A
that with
patch.
copying the, you know, the data to the console, because that's what it usually is.
right.
Usually there's enough on there for it to actually function.
Yeah.
That's
And
why
then-
there's always a disclaimer when it's like download required. If it's not on there, then there's probably at least enough on it to get the game going. You know, it might have more bugs or not be the most up-to-date build, but most of the time it is playable.
Yeah, which is something that I feel like isn't really talked about. We got a write in that's specifically about this, so I'm going to read it real quick. It's from
Yes.
Wild Jester, our good friend Jeff. He said, problem with physical copies of games today is that most are just a download proxy or key to start the download process, at least with newer games for current consoles. Hell, most PCs don't even have a CD drive today, but I still have old-ass game disc for PC and PlayStation 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I completely thought it was the same thing. And it's true to some extent, but maybe not quite as common as you might think if you look through the list of like, I just sorted out Series X on this Does It Play, and there's a lot of games on here, good 30, 40 just that they have tested, and a lot of them do play with no download required, and some of them, to your point, Craig, will play. Maybe they don't get a patch or a day one kind of update or anything like that, but it's a little bit better than we thought. I think
it's not as dire as Twitter or like would make it out to be, right? So
Yes.
Go figure, right?
Exactly, like most things.
Yeah, so that really for me, like that kind of turned me. Then I'm like, well, okay, well if Xbox is going to do away with physical games, then I actually kind of want to get as many as I can, because in 25 years, I'll look back and I'll have all of these games, especially if a good portion of them are still playable. Like maybe Xbox won't be around anymore and the network will be down. Who knows? But the Series X will still turn on, or the 360 will still turn on, and you can put a disc into it and hopefully install the game to a hard drive and play it from there.
And I have incredible news for you as an Xbox fan. Nobody really cares about Xbox. So if you want to collect Xbox, it is a cheap console to collect for. Original 360, Xbox One Series games, nobody gives a damn. So for people like you, this is the best possible hobby. You're going to get the best bang for your buck. You're going to get as many games for as little money as possible. You choose the right console manufacturer to support if you want to get into this hobby.
I know, it's so true. It's so true.
It's funny that you mentioned that too, because just the other day, as I was like kind of mulling over this topic and like looking up stuff on there, Price Charting is kind of like the main site that I've always used for checking out like video game prices and like kind of like seeing what they would sell kind of on the secondary market. I think it goes off of like eBay sold listings, so you know exactly like how much a game is worth. And just out of curiosity, I went on their video game section and sorted by like all the Xbox titles, like original 360, Xbox One, Series X, and like some of the most expensive games on that platform were like maybe a couple $100 at most, which for like most of the consoles that are out there, like especially like the Nintendo ones, like that's nothing. Like you'd find like ones for like thousands of dollars at the very least. And Earthbound, like Craig mentioned earlier, is going for like 2.5K or something complete.
Yeah, if you want a complete box of Earthbound right now, it's like close to like $2,500 to $3,000. It's insane. And it's like the most expensive original Xbox game is probably like, if you don't include like weird variants or special printings and things, like maybe like 200 max. Like I think Outrun 2006 or something like that is the most expensive.
It's definitely a cheap one to collect for. It's something I think my only parameters are I do still want, if the collection is ever finished, or I guess the day I die.
You're never done. So
the day I die. When I die, assuming there may be someone that is there to inherit my stuff, I do still want my collection to be mostly representative of like what I played and loved, and the era that I played. So I probably am not going to go even. I started with the Super Nintendo and then N64, definitely Nintendo kid growing up, but I just don't have the connection. Just sort of like right when I hit that 10 to 11 years old, which is like for me kind of that spot where I have really strong memories of playing video games, and that's 2000, 2001, 2002 for me. So that's OG Xbox, and then eventually PS3. So I'm pretty much collecting for all the Xbox consoles and PlayStation 3 and forward. That's pretty much all I need. Like I don't want to get, if I'm worried about getting too into the older things, and I will spend that money, so I have to be careful. I got to draw the line somewhere. So for now, that's kind of where I'm at on collecting.
If you can avoid cardboard, you'll be able to keep your wallet pretty safe. Cardboard is where it gets dangerous and tough.
Yeah, I wish I still had some of my N64 boxes and stuff. When you're 8, you just don't. I didn't know. I didn't know that I needed to keep that.
That's why it's so valuable, though. Now it's like there's very few people that like kept a really, really good care of those things. And honestly, even when I was collecting like big time, whenever I had like any of those cartridges, like N64 specifically, I would get like really good like aftermarket cases for some of those games, just so I could keep them in something that looks nice on a shelf, because I always hated putting just the cartridge on a shelf and just leaving it there. There's a company I've been going to called Retro Game Cases that make
Hmm.
these really, really cool aftermarket cases for like Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Color and stuff like that. And they're like $5 to $8 depending on like which one you want, but they're like anti-dust and they come with like really cool looking like cover art. Like basically it's like the cover art of the original game, but on like a nice plastic sleeve, and I love the way that they look.
That's
Very
really cool. I
Looking
love
at it
that.
right now.
Yeah, I was just on the website as well. I love that idea. Taylor, what about you, man? I mean, I feel like you and I are somewhat similar. We've always liked our physical editions. Where are you currently with physical games? Do you buy new games physically still, or are you digital or half and half? Like, what does your collection look like? Just kind of catch us up the same way all of us have done so far.
Yeah, so I have a pretty long history with collecting. I would say I only really started collecting physical games probably around like 2013 or so when I graduated high school and got my own money and like got a job and stuff like that. So I started kind of slowly collecting and sort of building up stuff right around then. So I've probably been doing it now for like 15 years or so. And I've the same as kind of Craig mentioned a little bit earlier. I've bought and sold so many different things. I've never been like a full set collector, but there was at one point in time where my collection had reached like 2,000 something games, and just life happens and the job market isn't good, so I had to sell a lot of my collection. But I had a lot of really really cool stuff that I really really wish I had again. But it's kind of one of those things where I just decided to kind of do it again, smarter and slower. I think this time around. So I recently, I mean, I've been buying physical games for forever. It's definitely my more preferred way to buy video games. I just can't get over the like having a tangible good in my hands. Like even when it was kind of a thing where it was like we were all under the like assumption that the disc was just a paperweight basically, and like we were just kind of downloading something. I just liked the idea of like going to the store or getting something delivered to me that I could like hold in my hand. And I always had this like kind of dream when I was a kid, and I was a little bit more of a reader back then. But I always thought it would be cool to like if I ever had like a big house to just have like a library in my house. And slowly that dream kind of evolved from like having like a book library to like a video game library. Like, and then that's kind of when like more like preservation and like archiving things became really important to me as well for a lot of these as the medium kind of became more important to me and more treasured. So um, I recently kind of got back into it just as like a way to collect again. I always feel like having a collection is always a fun hobby to do. I've always had fun going out and collecting and seeing things in the wild, or going to a convention or something and seeing something there that you're like, oh, I want to make an offer to this guy on it. So there's a lot of interesting bartering that happens, a lot of like interesting social uh, experience that happens when you're like at those different markets and like looking for games and stuff too. And it's just fun. It's a fun thing to do. I kind of like doing it. It's kind of like what I imagine like thrifting would be for somebody, where it's like you go get your coffee and you go to like the thrift store and try to find something. I
Yeah.
like to do that same thing with games. So um, I try to collect as much stuff as I can physically, but I'm definitely not above buying something digitally, especially if it's like an indie game where I know it's probably not going to have a physical run for several years or so. So usually what I'll do is those games end up being cheaper. I can just buy them for 30, 40, $50 or whatever they are digitally. And then over time, like as I'm kind of hunting that particular game, that ends up being the game that I'll find, like a Fallout games or something like that for, you know, about the same price or whatever. So, yeah, generally I've found myself collecting a lot more physically now, especially now that I feel like I've gotten to a groove where a lot of these places like GameStop and Best Buy and stuff like won't have enough physical copies if you just go to the store and just check it out. So I've kind of gotten to this rhythm now where if there's a game that I really want that's coming out, like, in the next couple weeks or so, I'll actually pre-order it through the website like a couple weeks out, just so I'm guaranteed a physical copy. So I've been doing that a lot lately too. But yeah, slowly building back up where I was at. I think my game collection at one point was like close to 2,000 games or something like that, and I'm at
Whoa.
111 now as it currently stands.
Wow. I need
Nice.
to. I need to count. I actually don't know. I have them all on one shelf, like one bookcase, but
Yeah,
I should probably count. Actually,
you should archive them too, because I would love to see
There's an
a
app.
spreadsheet of that.
yeah,
There is.
yeah. I can do the app. I think it's probably a good. That's a good. I have the like Deku Games or whatever app where it like alerts you when games go on sale, and you can say like I want this game physically. I want this
that's
game
cool.
physically, and it's connected to like all the major digital storefronts like Amazon and Target and Walmart and all the wherever GameStop. And then it'll tell you, oh, this game is now at this price, and you can just link it and then buy it if you want it. So that's been cool. But yeah, I don't have anything that archives what I have, so that's a good idea. Kyle, I feel like I don't remember like when we would, if I would go over to your house or whatever, and while you were playing games, that you would have like a ton of them. But obviously, at one point, you did. Where are you with all of this, man? I actually don't know. Surprisingly, I just helped you move, and I don't remember really.
Well, yeah, if you remember, yeah, there wasn't much of anything.
Is there a disc drive in that PS5 behind you, or no?
Yes, there is.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's weird. I kind of have. I like having things to remember certain like time periods by. Like I really do enjoy that, and so in some ways I do kind of regret kind of how I work on my own. But unfortunately, the reality is that I'm just so unorganized by nature that I don't have the capability of actually keeping and making sure that those games are like going to stay in good condition. Because even all the way back from my childhood, it's like, don't ever let me borrow anything, because that shit might get ruined. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just not really good about like organizing and cataloging things and keeping them somewhere where I know where they're gonna be. Like that'll probably just end up in my closet, like somewhere thrown away. And it'll be like on the floor, and like the disc will be like out on the floor or something like that.
Oh no,
it's pretty bad. But at the same time,
well, you could not tell from your background there. I feel like your living room there looks pretty nice.
You look tidy.
Yeah,
nice and organized.
I mean,
It's a green screen.
So you have a good facade.
green
I'll say
screen.
that.
Yeah.
He pulls it down. It's just like a fucking like Silent Hill
Disheveled.
The same
basement.
room, but exploded.
damn it, Craig. Yeah, See, I like keeping that all organized, but when it comes to like this is easy, right? Like you just hang up a picture or something like that. Like I don't have to worry about it. I do have a shoe organizer, which is pretty impressive for my standards, to be honest.
That is. R/male living space would be very satisfied with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but if you saw the drawers in this entertainment center, there's like some really random stuff in there. Like I'm pretty sure I've got hats, and then like different HDMI cords, and then some screws, and then a tape measure, I think. There's just a bunch of random stuff in there. So yeah, I'm just kind of like, and I also don't like, this kind of plays into why I've been so much into traveling a lot. I don't like having a lot of things that make me feel tied down.
Yeah.
And so I think part of that is kind of what plays into that, of me just not being very well organized and stuff, because I just kind of put stuff away and forget about it. And it makes it, that's just why I like just getting up and leaving at any moment's notice and not have to worry about where things are. So yeah, I like seeing the collections. I love seeing the memories. And so I'm all here for it. Like, honestly, I would almost even consider like buying games for you guys to keep, to like add to the catalog, so that I can come over and be like, dude, that's really cool.
There it is.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so funny you say that, because I have a quick anecdote about this that I could not bring myself to explain it to my dad. My dad is like a pretty frugal guy.
Yeah.
I'm not frugal, but I'm also not, as he would put it, a tightwad. That's what he calls it.
Yeah.
So, my birthday was last week, this was Kyle's birthday present to me, by the way, which is all
That's
the
sick.
Yurden
Love that.
sign, the Yurden and Quen, and like all the signs of the Witcher, the magic.
Happy belated birthday.
signs. Thank you very much. The reason that I bring that up is because I didn't even think about it. So there's this weird thing where, speaking of not being frugal, I kind of tend to buy games digitally and then buy them physically way later when they're cheap.
Mhm.
Maybe someone will have it for sale nearby in Wenatchee. It'd be like a really nice. I won't buy like a gross copy of something, but if it's like, a lot of the times you can go on Facebook Marketplace and people will have all kinds of stuff, or eBay if the game, especially to your point, Craig, Xbox games don't really hold a lot of value. So the newest example is 007, because I pre-ordered like a day or two, just like you said, Taylor, about kind of right a week or so before the game comes out. I pre-ordered on Amazon, and it was like launch day delivery. And I was like, heck yeah, because this is kind of my new thing. I'm getting back into physical games. So I order the game physically. Then I get a message like a day before launch day for 007 First Light. Oh, it'll be here on like June 6th. It's like, what the hell? It said launch day delivery. So I immediately canceled it and just bought it digitally because I was like, that's bullshit. I want to play this right now. Like it's available. So I bought it. And then I find out later that my dad, for my birthday, had gone to GameStop and bought me a physical copy of 007 First Light. And he asked Alicia if I had it, and she was like, oh, yeah, he just got it. And I don't blame her for, it's true. But I was like, oh, man, I don't care. I want that. I want the physical.
Right.
I would have been just as excited to receive a physical copy for a game I just bought, because now I don't have to buy it. And it's shrink wrapped. I have multiple games that are shrink wrapped still for Series X or Xbox One because I own them digitally or they're on Game Pass. I have no intention of opening them unless for some reason I can no longer access them digitally. And so that would have been a shrink wrapped copy of 007 First Light right on the shelf. And I would have loved that. But he took it back because and I would
There's
never.
no way he could do that.
It was a cool thought, though.
I would never have been like, no, Dad, like I'll still take it. I'll never open it.
You're right. Yeah.
Please spend $70 on this.
So
thing.
this can collect dust for eternity.
That would just go right
yeah.
over his head. And so I would never do that. The thought was great. I mean, very sweet. And I'm an idiot for buying a game like 2 days before my birthday. I probably should have thought about that, but I didn't. And so it's just funny. Like that's another thing I tend to do now is I will buy a lot of stuff digitally and just be like, I'll just buy it later for $25 on eBay or whatever, or $40 or whatever the case may be. But I'm slowly kind of changing. I do, to your point, Taylor, I like the idea of kind of making something of it, like of a game you're excited about. You have to maybe get in your car and drive to a location and go speak to someone and have them hand you the game with a giant ass GameStop receipt wrapped around it. There is something to that, right? There, I think it's kind of a similar thing to when people talk about really enjoying records. It's something that's deliberate and intentional. And you know that it's not the most efficient or the most perfect way of doing something, but that's kind of almost the point in and of itself.
Yeah, there's like a weird intangible benefit, like I feel like to it.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's follow that thread a little bit because GameStop is something else. But Craig, what are some of your favorite what are some memories or just like general observations from your time going to places like Fallout Games or GameStop or whatever throughout the years? Like you what is it about those kinds of places that you still enjoy or that you wish were still a thing?
I don't know. I mean, really a big part of it is just the discovery. There's nothing better than, I have a Saturday to myself because my wife works on Saturdays, and it's just like, I have nothing to do today, like maybe the laundry's done, no chores to do. I'm like, maybe I'll do some game hunting, like just see what I can find, like no plan. There's a lot of, I'm very lucky. Vegas is a very great place to live now if you're into game collecting. There is a Pink Gorilla out here now as well. They opened up a location here.
I
and
forgot.
then
It's a really cool location too.
yeah, and then Retro City is a chain we have out here owned by a friend of mine, and there's 4 locations. There's a bunch of other shops around town. There's a bunch of GameStops, tons of thrift stores and antique malls and different things. So I have plenty of options to just kind of go around town. And like I said, I'm going for a Dreamcast set, so it's like that's usually my main thing. But I love just going to these stores and kind of just like looking at literally everything, just being like, you never know what they could have. You might find something that's hard to find, that's underpriced. You might find something that you played either a long time ago as a kid that you forgot about, and you're like, oh, maybe I'll pick this up again, see if it's as good or as bad as I remember. You might just see some weird anime slop on the wall, and you're like, oh, I love anime slop. Never heard of this game. Let me grab this for $10. It's just the big thing for me is
that multiple times.
Oh yeah, the big thing for me is just the discovery, and I mean that's still pretty much everywhere. It's like retro gaming is, in terms of like a hobby, is as big as it's ever been. It only gets bigger and bigger. I don't think people give him a lot of credit, but Scott the Woz, who blew up on YouTube a few years ago now, I feel like a lot of people have gotten into older consoles, especially like people maybe 5 to 10 years younger than us have gotten into it because of YouTubers like that. So it's like this hobby just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and it's like they keep opening more stores. You keep finding stuff. GameStop has their retro initiative now, where every GameStop has a retro section, whether it be huge or not, depends on the GameStop. But it's like you could go there, no matter what, you'll find some PS2, some Xbox, maybe some GameCube if you're lucky, maybe some NES if you're lucky, like as old as that. So discoverability is high. Your options for finding stuff locally, depending on where you live, could be very high. Seattle is also a fantastic place, especially because of the Nintendo and Microsoft headquarters out there. There's been a lot of crazy stuff unearthed from garage sales and estate sales out there, like one-of-a-kind prototypes and prototype consoles and, 1 of 4 variant orange Xboxes and crazy things like that. So, favorite thing about collecting and going to these stores physically, because it's like you could go on eBay and just buy anything, right? But there's not a lot of fun in that compared to just going out, like you said, driving your car, seeing someone in a store, getting someone from the person behind the counter that usually doesn't want to be there, but they're still doing their job.
Sometimes they are like really about being there too,
sure.
Depending on the person you're talking to.
But... it totally depends. Like, I'm actually lucky. I love my GameStop. I feel like most people can't say that. I live by the best GameStop ever. Same 2 people are there every single time. They're super nice. They know me by name. I go in there every time a new game's coming out. I have a coworker who refuses to use Zelle. So what I do is I go to the bank in the same parking lot. I take out a 20. I go to GameStop and I break the 20 by putting $5 down on whatever upcoming release I want. And then I take that extra 15 and pay back my coworker for lunch. So I'm there all the time. And they're super nice, super friendly. They always have good stock. I'm not sure if there's much that I would say I miss, because I feel like, besides the prices for many things getting absurdly expensive, not much has really changed. I feel like being a fan of physical games, retro games, even modern games is is something that keeps getting better. We have some hiccups now, like game key cards and things like that, which are less desirable, but
sure,
in my opinion, I think that that's better than nothing. If it's like that or no physical representation at all, I'm okay with that personally. So not sure if there's anything I miss. I think that the future is brighter than most people will lead you to think when it comes to the aspect of physical video games.
Yeah, do you think that they're going to? I do wonder if the next consoles will have disc drives.
Mm-hmm. And
they don't want you to buy discs.
That's true, and I mean, I guess we'll see when we get there. But I don't know.
That's my only concern.
As much as this sucks, I don't know if in the long run I will care that much. I mean, I'd rather be there than not, but it's like I'm not gonna not get the new console and play the new games on it because of that. It's like I have tons of digital games too. I mean, when it comes down to it, it's like I own tons of games digitally just because sometimes the digital sales for some of these games are absurd. It's like I got Kingdom Come Deliverance for like $2.99 at one point on PlayStation, and it's just like, all right, it's like I'm not going to find a disc for that game for $2.99, so whatever. I guess I'll download it when I want to play it. So I'm not anti-digital. I prefer physical, and if it goes away, I'd be sad. And also, it's a little scary because then it's like there's no competition for these people. They can make these games more expensive. It could be all these other tragic things, but it's not really anything I could do about it personally either. So I try not to think too deeply about it. As silly as that might sound, but I'm just like, there's literally nothing I could do about it.
No,
but
no,
I show up
absolutely
right
nothing.
now, right? I do my part. I buy every game physically that I can. So I'm doing the most that I feel like I can. I vote with my wallet in that way.
Yeah, that's a great point, and I'm trying to get back in that way too. I guess it's a great point about not really missing anything because that hasn't changed and you're still actively there. I just feel like GameStop, specifically GameStop, has really, they've kind of lost the luster a little bit, and a lot of people do look at GameStop as like a former relationship.
Oh,
I never go there anymore. You know. Oh,
They-
go ahead.
I mean, I would say overall as a company, terrible. Like I said, I think
Oh, yeah.
my disdain isn't as bad because I live by a really good one. Like I said, great workers. You know, it's like they whip out the game before I pay so they could let me know if it's a real sealed copy or if it's a bullshit sealed copy where actually it's not new and it's open. And they're like, yeah, it's new. It's never been played. I'm like, if I go to the store and the bag of chips hasn't been eaten out yet, but the bag is open, it's not a brand new bag of chips.
Right, yeah.
It's so crazy. I feel like everyone has that story from GameStop at one point or another of them being like, yeah, let me get you that new game. They pull it out of a drawer, put it in the case. Like, what the
You're
that's
like,
not
"It's
a
not
new
new."
game.
That's one thing I'll say too about GameStop, at least like my experience recently too, is that I have pre-ordered games before for a physical copy and had them shipped to my house, and they've always got there on launch day, which is good too.
That's
So
good.
Oh,
I've
shit.
definitely dealt
Okay,
with-
that's really good to know.
Mhm.
yeah, because I've dealt with that situation you mentioned earlier, Ian, many different times, and it's always kind of a gamble. But I will say one thing about GameStop and pre-ordering physical editions is they've always got my copy to me by launch day. So
Oh, that's really good to know because that would be a big reason for me to just buy a game. That or I am kind of starting to like the idea of maybe going to GameStop again. It depends on who's working there. I kind of my love of GameStop got destroyed because I worked there.
yeah,
Oh,
And
that's fun.
boy, it was not fun. It's one of the worst jobs I've ever had in my entire life.
I've heard
And
some
I
horror
got-
I
stories.
remember that.
I got blacklisted basically as far as like they started taking me off the schedule, and I don't really blame them because I was probably not a good GameStop employee because I got there, and because my first job ever was Hollywood Video back when that was a thing here
Oh, wow.
here in
Yeah.
Wenatchee. And my favorite thing about Hollywood Video was my manager. We had this sort of like monthly payment point system. It was like Hollywood's last attempt to fight the Netflix onslaught that was happening and the dawn of streaming digital media and all of that. And it was sort of like it was kind of like Game Pass. You could basically pay a certain amount per month and get a certain amount of quote unquote points, and different kinds of movies or different kinds of rentals, new movies, older movies, video games were worth different amounts of points. And I remember looking at this, like the way they had the points set up, and like it was like a really good deal. They were desperate. It was incredible.
Mhm.
And I'm not much of a salesman. I'm not pushy. I'm not very good at like figuring out a way to kind of get people to do stuff that they might otherwise not want to do it. And I was so good at selling that thing because I thought it was fucking awesome. And I was just like, people could feel that. And I would get into great conversations with people who wasn't too busy, and they would walk away with one of those programs every time. And then I thought that would be my experience at GameStop. It's just like, I love this stuff. I want to talk about video games with people. I want to help parents find the game that they want for their kid, like all of that stuff. Like I want the random expertise that I have because I read Game Informer and listen to all these podcasts to, I can put this shit to use, like
Right.
working environment. And it was just like, they were like, no, don't you talk to that lady too long. You're talking to this guy about these games and he only ended up buying this one, or like you just like you didn't ask this like fucking 50 something year old woman just came in to like get Call of Duty for her kid or whatever. And like, oh, like you didn't ask if she wanted to pre-order, some like Japanese role playing game. I'm like, what the fuck? Why would I ask
You're
her
right.
that? You know, I just
Yeah.
got into these fights like with the management. I'm like, that's not good customer service. You're just beating them over the head with this stuff that they clearly don't want. I know what this person wants already. I just saw what they're buying. I had to talk to them for a while. They just did not. They were just like, go alphabetize, you know. And it's just like,
You're telling me you didn't
whatever,
get
man.
Grandma to buy Tales of Vesperia for the 360?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
She's missing out.
That's not even an exaggeration. Like that. That's
crazy.
Those are the conversations I had with the manager, and they just ruined it. And I was just like, this is crazy, man. Like, this is so nuts. And after a while, I just stopped getting hours, and then I moved. So, but it was just it really messed with my. And then I noticed, like, anytime I would go into GameStop, you know, I would buy Witcher or something, and they're like, "Hey, what about Call of Duty?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not a big Call of Duty guy." Well, but did you hear about? And I'm just like, "Fuck off,
You're
man!"
like,
Like, I just
"Stop
told
it."
you, I don't like these games. Like, why are you trying to sell this to me? I just felt like the classic sort of walking onto a lot of a car sales place. You know, the old school car salesman coming out and just going after you and just not giving you
gunning
any
it
room
for
to
you.
breathe. And that's how it felt walking into GameStop. So I stopped going there. But I don't know. I'm thinking about maybe going back and trying it again, because I do like the idea of kind of bringing back that, oh man, it's Friday, this game is launching, I'm pumped, I'm gonna go drive over there and grab it. Maybe I'll grab some food and go home and play. Like, that's a cool kind of, I don't know, wistful idea that I like bringing back. Taylor, what about you, man? Like, do you still actively go to GameStop at all, or do you just do the website delivery mostly, or like what are some of the things you look back on with game stores? I'm sure you still go to Fallout games sometimes too.
Oh yeah, all the time. I was actually going to say there's another retro game store out here in Phoenix called the Gaming Zone that actually sells new releases too. I don't know how they were able to do that or finagle that, but they actually will sell like 5 to 10 copies of like a new release, like shrink wrapped on there. So they're pretty hot commodities, so they run out of them pretty quickly. So you're gonna have to go down there as quickly as you can to buy them. But yeah, usually for new games, I've been going kind of like the GameStop route and then the Best Buy route. Best Buy, I've normally been doing for like order pickup stuff because it's pretty easy to just walk in and out, and the counter is right there. You don't have to screw with a whole lot of stuff. You just go in and tell them that you're picking up your order and grab it and go. GameStop I've been using for like the shipping, just because it's like they haven't let me down yet on like sending out my order and having it get there like on the release day. Like I just got 007 through them, and it was a really painless process. So I did that. So new releases are kind of Best Buy and GameStop for the most part. But yeah, other than that, I love going to all the retro stores that we have out here. There's a couple of others, but it's like Fallout and the Gaming Zone are like the two number ones. I know the owners of the Gaming Zone. They're like these super cool brothers that like own these stores, and they just opened up a new location in like Glendale and stuff like that here. So they're expanding their market, which is really cool. And I just love the business that they run. They have really cool arcades in a lot of their locations too, that you could spend like $5 at or something, and you get like all day play access to it or so. So I've seen like people go there and like spend $5 or whatever, or like spend like 200 or something to rent out the arcade for like a like couple hours or whatever for like a birthday thing, and like they have guys in there with like drinks and stuff like that, and they're playing like Street Fighter. So it's a really cool time. Really cool stores out here to check out. But yeah, I mean, I just kind of like you mentioned earlier, Craig, I get into one of those moods sometimes where like I just don't have anything going on the weekend, and like Anna's doing her own thing, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go out and game hunt, and I always stop by and say hi to the people, and they're always super nice, and some of them even have little coffee bars like in the store too, so I can just stop and like get a coffee while I'm checking stuff out. So
Yeah.
it's a good time, man. I really love that like making kind of a day out of it, and just going around to some of these different stores and kind of saying hi and checking out what they got. So sometimes the selection isn't super great, but every once in a while you'll get like a really cool gem that I'm like, oh, I just can't leave without buying this thing. So it's really fun. It's a good little dopamine hit whenever you find something like that.
Yeah, I do love the search and searching for nothing in particular, but just being like, oh hell yeah, I forgot about this game. This is such a
Yeah.
great game. I haven't seen it in a while. That happens a lot whenever I look at OG Xbox stuff. I played more of those games than I realized, and every time I go to a store and they have OG Xbox, I was like, oh yeah,
Right.
oh that's right. Like I love them. There's something about those original cases that I really like. Kyle, do you have like what do you remember the most about going to GameStop? I feel like I have a memory of the two of us and a couple of our friends. I'm wondering if you'll bring that up, but do you have any just thoughts on like GameStop and just the way that used to be back when we were in high school and stuff, and compared to now?
Yeah, I mean, the fondest memory is just really having to camp outside for several hours.
Dude,
for
midnight
some sort
releases.
of midnight releases were
Great
incredible.
Great.
Yeah, that's really what GameStop meant to me. And then obviously as that kind of like faded away, I didn't really have much of a reason to go there. But man, there was just nothing like having to actually the build up even before you got out there is just like hanging out with friends and like talking about like, dude, Halo's coming. I can't wait. Like, when are you going to go there? When are you going to show up? I'll see you in line, just what an incredible time. It's hard to explain the value of that. You had to have been there. Kids these days don't understand.
They don't. That's one of the few things where I'm like, you guys missed out, man. I'm sorry.
There's
I
only
know
been,
it sucks. It's not their
yeah.
fault.
I was gonna say there's
That's
been
the golden
two
era,
in recent
right?
memory, and this probably isn't everywhere, but like I said, I got the cool GameStop by me. They did it for Tears of the Kingdom, which was fun.
Ooh.
So when that
Oh,
came
very
out,
nice.
and then they also did it for Switch 2, and they did it based off of East Coast time. So I got my Switch 2 at 9 p.m. that night, so that was kind of fun to go
Oh, yeah.
get my Switch 2 and then play it, an hour of Mario Kart World before I'm like, all right, I gotta go to bed. I have work tomorrow, but. So it still happens, but pretty rarely compared to the way that it used to be.
I wonder if our GameStop will do a midnight release for GTA 6.
See, like something big like that, I wouldn't be surprised. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even like there's games I'm more excited for than GTA 6 this year. But if they did a midnight release for it, I might do it just for the hell of it.
just for the vibes, right?
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to go ask them about that. I'm gonna try and go in there over the next week or so, and maybe put some money down on the Blood of the Dawnwalker. Is that, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. I think that's my next, and it's coming out in early September, so it's not too far away. I think definitely going to pick that one up.
Dude, there's 5 games that I can kind of remember like a midnight release for, were like one of the last ones I went to. Like there's like 4 or 5 of those games, but one of the ones I remember going to was for the midnight release of GTA 5, and I wasn't even interested in it. It was like a friend of mine who was like a really big fan, and he's like, I know you're not a GTA guy, but like, do you want to go to the midnight release with me for GTA 5? And I was like, hell yeah, man. Just to go hang out and talk shit with people in line and like watch them get their copy. Like, I don't know, it was a good time. So I didn't even buy the game. I was just like there for moral support, but it was such a good time.
You always make friends when you go to these things too. It's always because it's
Oh,
like you're
yeah.
all there for a common interest. Like I remember, this would have been I think 2014, maybe 2015 when Smash came out for Nintendo 3DS, and there's
Yeah.
probably 30, 40 of us waiting there. And what were we doing while we were waiting in line? We downloaded. Of course, we had the demo downloaded for the game on our 3DSs, and we were playing the demo, waiting for the actual game to come out, which was
Oh, I remember that
an
too.
awesome experience. So it's like we were already playing it, just like getting a taste of what was to come in a few hours and play the full game. It was great.
Oh, that is cool. Yeah. Those are
Yeah.
that's a good, like, more specific as far as the memory goes. That does feel like something that's really has gone by the wayside. Even if they don't do it very often anymore. And I went to a lot of those midnight releases. I went to a lot with Kevin, actually.
Yeah.
Just like there was a lot of games in that late, or I would say early 2010s, like the Mass Effect 3, Assassin's Creed 3, Halo 4. They were doing midnight releases for all of those. Fallout 4, I think they did in 2015. It was like a lot of them. So that is a good memory. And you, like you said, you always make good friends there. You just everyone's there for the same thing. Kyle, one memory I have is this is so random because we don't really play FIFA anymore, but it was like the last big get together. It might have been for my birthday, which is usually also around the end of a school year in Washington State. And it was senior year, so it was basically over. And we all got together, and the World Cup was happening. And a couple of our friends really wanted to play the specific World Cup game, and just to kind of celebrate it. And we went down to GameStop, this big ass group of late high schoolers just walking in there. And I bet it was probably really kind of too bad for the guy trying to make his money, because it was like 6 of us in there. We're like, well, I'll take this one game, please.
Right.
But we went in there and I paid I wish I kept it. I don't have that game anymore. It was like the 2010 or whatever, FIFA World Cup 2010. And we played that thing all night long. Just like back, we had our own tournament and did our own World Cup. And it was cool. I feel like that you just don't really, that kind of ties intrinsically with like couch co-op and games you can still play in the same room.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, it was definitely like a golden era of gaming. It kind of ties into that time frame where, everybody waited outside for several hours to get the new Halo, and then we'd all go back to the same place and play like Halo together, to start it out. There's just so much that was tied to it that wasn't just about the waiting outside, but it was, that sense of community was very different at the time, and that's what GameStop really makes me think of, is just that entire golden era of gaming. Just had to be there. Yeah,
it's really true. You really did. Kind of the big missing out happening for sure from some younger folks, which is too bad. What would we'll come back to you, Craig. What would you say? Do you have one or two things in your collection that are like the pride of your collection, like this? If everything else went, if you're just saving something in the fire, and you're grabbing one or two things, what are those things?
See, it's tough because 3 things come to mind. So can I pick 3?
Okay.
All right.
3's great.
So number 1, the complete in box Earthbound. So the cartridge that's in it is not the cartridge that came with the box. When I saved up for a complete in box Earthbound at one point. I wanted it so bad for many years. One of my favorite games. Like I said, the game that kickstarted the whole interest in game collecting. So when I bought my complete in box copy, I actually took the cartridge out, sold that cartridge, and put in the cartridge that I bought originally from Fallout Games. So I still have that original cartridge that kickstarted this all. So that's very special to me. And I also got it for like $700, which is a steal if you consider what it goes for now. So definitely wouldn't want to have to buy that again. My favorite game of all time, if you guys don't know, Mother 3. I have a special edition box set. Where it was the game, and it came with a carrying pouch, and it came with a special edition Game Boy Micro that you're only able to get in the special limited edition box set. It's like this beautiful dark red. It has a graphic of the Nowhere Islands on the background of it. It's like just this custom system that's super low manufactured, very, very rare, hard to find everything inside the box set that I have for my favorite game of all time. Kind of cheating because it's a console and a game and all these other things, but I love it. And then the final thing, and this is the kind of the crown jewel of my collection, which is this thing called the Duo Pack. So this is a weird GameCube release where it was literally just a copy of Super Monkey Ball and Sonic Heroes. They sold them in a bundle discount pack for $19.99. They put it in a big cardboard yellow box that has Sonic and II from Super Monkey Ball on it. There's 7 of these known to exist. I looked for I think 7 years before I was able to find a copy. And it is just my prized possession. As a GameCube fan, it being my favorite home console, it is the hardest thing to find for that console. And like I said, maybe 7, 8 are known to exist that are have survived throughout the years because of how hard it is to find.
That's crazy.
And I spent no money on it because I have a hard rule of I would never spend $1,000 on any collectible, or more than $1,000 on any collectible. This thing is worth thousands. It's kind of worth whatever someone's willing to pay for. That's how hard it is to find. One pops up every couple of years, maybe on eBay or Facebook or any of these different sites. And it's literally just 2 normal games inside of a cardboard sleeve. So it's like stupid that it's so collectible. But I live for this stuff. It's like I don't care if a game is worth $5 or $5,000. If it's rare, I think it's fun. I think it's cool to own it because I just like rare, hard, low print, unique, obscure stuff.
Yeah.
And like I said, I looked for that for about 7 years. I found a guy on Facebook Marketplace that had one, and I traded him a bunch of stuff for it. So I did not spend a penny on that thing.
Wow.
Technically,
did
which
he
makes
not
me happy.
know what
so.
he had?
Oh no, he knew what he had because he got like a couple $1,000s worth of games from me.
Okay.
But all these games that I got for cheaper from like whether it be lucky eBay bids, like Goodwill finds. My wife used to work at Zia Records, if you know that. They have some locations in Arizona as well. They have my here in Vegas. So she would get like heavy discounts when she worked there. So it was all stuff that was worth something that I got for cheap. And I had to get rid of a ton of it. And it's like, I got rid of some good stuff like Super Nintendo role-playing games, complete in box and stuff like that. And I remember at the time I was like on the verge. I was like, what do I do? Like, this is so rare, but I don't want to get rid of this cool stuff that I own. And then a good friend of mine, Antonio, who works at Retro City Games, I remember talking to him about it. And I'm like, what's your expert opinion, manager of Retro Game Store? And he was like, all those Super Nintendo games, he's like, they're all very cool. He's like, the Duo Pack, you're never going to find another one. He's like, all those you could buy back. He's like, you're not going to be able to find another one of these probably again, ever, if not in many years. And I was like, that's right. That's fair. So then I did the trade. I got it. And I think since then, like 2 have sold on eBay. And I got this back in like 2021, I think. So it's like, I made the right decision in the long run. But
Yeah,
if you tell
I'm looking
anybody
at it
that I
right
sold
now.
like, Final Fantasy 2 and 3 and all these other cool Super Nintendo games for a Sonic and Monkey Ball bundle, they'd probably laugh at you. But to me, it means something. So
Yeah, that's all.
Dude, yeah.
That's truly all that matters. For sure.
I'm looking at it right now on price charting. It's $3,850 complete.
And the
And
last
there's-
one,
Wow.
the last one that sold, the entire front was torn. So it's like people are willing to spend that money just to have one, like even if it's in terrible condition. So I feel
The last
lucky
sale was
to have
March
gotten the
of last
opportunity to
year.
own it.
March 2025 was the last
Mhm.
one that sold.
Man, it feels like the. I mean, it's not as popular or cultural relevant, but it feels similar to when they did the Lord of the Rings Magic the Gathering and everyone was looking for the One Ring. You know?
Mhm.
It's like everyone was waiting to hear who finally found
Yes. hmm Yeah, because it's like literally when this game, I remember specifically in 2021 is when like video game prices truly started to explode. I'm sure Taylor will remember as well since he's been collecting a while. Let's put his headphones back on. Taylor,
it.
you probably remember I was saying 2021 was like when games really started to blow up like crazy. Like that's when all the retro games started going insane. And at the time there was this one guy on eBay that literally had like every rare GameCube game and GameCube variant that you could think of. Like all the ones that people were like, we're not sure if this exists. He had it and it was going up for sale at auction. And one of the ones
Crazy.
was this, elusive duo pack. And I remember it sold for $5,100 or whatever it was. And I was like, well, I guess I'm never going to own that. And then the next day, another one goes up for sale for like $5,200 and it sells right away. To a friend of mine, actually, I remember talking to about it, and I was like, "You're a crazy person." He's like, "I know, but I don't know if I'll ever get another chance." And I'm like, "Well, I guess I'll never own it." And then within that same week was when I found that guy on Facebook, and I think that he knew what he had because of those eBay auctions. And he's still,
yeah.
the trade fodder I gave him was still probably about half of that. So it's like even then I still got it for way less than the other copies of selling for. So still a net positive in my opinion. And if there was one thing I had to say from the fire, it would probably be that, just because it was like that was like the peak of my collecting journey. Because it was like I looked for it for so many years, never thought I'd own it. It's like my true personal holy grail. So
Do you have any
That,
of this
like-
insured?
I should.
I was just curious.
Yeah, you should.
It sounds
No,
like
I
you have an
definitely should.
insane collection. So
I think technically a lot of it falls under renter's insurance, but I need to look into the specificities of that, just in case, because I do have some stuff where it's like I don't know what I would do. It's like I don't even want to think about that. But I
Yeah.
definitely should. I should definitely double
You should.
check
I
and
think
look into
some
it.
policies. I had mine insured at one point in time, and I
Mhm.
think it was only like $15 a month or something.
And that would definitely be worth it for the
insure up to like
the- who
$10,000
even
or
knows? Probably-
$15,000.
like I was gonna say, not even like braggadocious. It's like it's probably like $100,000 worth of stuff at least with all the consoles and different things. So it's like
yeah,
who knows? It's like why risk it? So
It's
Yeah.
There's no reason to no reason to risk that for sure.
Mhm.
Well, let us. We'll have to have you on again. You can let us
Update.
know. I'm fully insured now.
Yeah.
Taylor, how about you? Actually, before this is going to be kind of the same thing. We have a write-in that asks a similar question to this. So, this is our last write-in as well. Cream Lord of the Cream. He wrote in, I've been slowly trying to get back into having a physical game collection. Any game that comes out that I'm really looking forward to, I try and get a physical copy of. So here's his question. It's kind of similar to what we're talking about.
Mhm.
Is there a game in your collection you'd think other people would not expect you to have, and which game in your collection means the most to you? Taylor, let's have you take off with that, Taylor.
Okay, so I was like, I don't know if I have anything that people wouldn't expect, but I do actually have one that I didn't expect, or that people wouldn't expect for the most part. So a couple months ago, me and Anna went out to Tucson to what were we doing? We were like hanging out with a friend of hers out there that she works with, and we went to one of the game stores that was out there. I can't remember what it's called exactly, but we were kind of like perusing their section. They didn't have like really a ton that I was interested in, but like Anna was really excited because they had a copy of ET on Atari 2600, which is like the game that's like kind of responsible for causing like the first like big video game crash. Where they have the infamous story about how like they just like buried all the copies in the New Mexico desert, like in a big hole or whatever, and just dropped them in. So this copy was in like pristine condition. I mean, it's like untouched basically, but it's like not really worth a whole lot. I think we paid like $15 for it, and it's like worth like maybe 10. So it's kind of one of those things that's like in our collection that's just kind of like nobody would really expect us to have it, but it's kind of a weirdly like culturally significant game. So that's just kind of an interesting one that we have here. One other game I would say that I have in my collection that I guess wouldn't be, for people that know me, I guess wouldn't be completely out of the ordinary, but I think to the like normal outside hardcore gamer per se, like looking into my collection, like it would probably strike somebody as weird as I have which copy of it is it? I'm looking at my collection right now. It's NCAA football 2005.
Oh, interesting.
And you know why I got it? Because it has Arizona Cardinals legend number 11 Larry Fitzgerald on the cover.
Let's
Yeah.
When he
It's
went to
funny you say
Pittsburgh.
that. So he's got his Pittsburgh uniform on. That's cool.
Yeah. So I was like, I just wanted to buy it because it has Larry Fitzgerald on the cover, and all of the sports video games that have some kind of Arizona legend on it, I will buy. There's not that many of them, so you don't have to like.
You have Madden 10?
I do. I have Madden 10, and then I also have 2K22. I think that has Devin Booker on the cover.
Oh yeah.
So
Okay.
any Arizona sports legend, I will, if they ever decide to put them on the cover, which, like I said, isn't much, but for the ones that are there, I do buy those ones. So those ones I think are pretty cool to have. But yeah, I guess in terms of like a crown jewel, I guess right now of my collection, I don't know if I really have anything in my collection as it currently stands that I think means a ton to me. I will say I do have some like OG Xbox stuff that has meant a lot to me that I've kept over the years, just because it's like when I was kind of offloading my collection, they weren't really worth like that much to really sell them back. So I was like, this wouldn't be worth the $10 I would probably get to trade it in instead of having the memories associated with it. So, I've got like Republic Commando on original Xbox. That means quite a bit to me. So I kept that over time. I just recently rebought back all of my Resident Evil games, like the remakes and stuff like that. So Resident Evil 2 is like one of my favorites. So like I kept that. I have the original Star Wars Battlefront games, so 1 and 2 for the original Xbox that I've kept over time. So nothing like super valuable or like crazy expensive here. A lot of these are just kind of ones that have like had sentimental value to me. Some of them I've owned since my first console too. Like my Halo 3 copy I have on 360 is my original one that I had back in the day. So just some of those ones that like wouldn't be worth a ton to trade in and mean a
Sure.
lot to me. So I've
Yeah.
held on to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's cool, man.
Kyle, do you have what games do you have? Do you have any games that you have
I just got
actually
one.
held on to? Oh, you just got one?
Ooh,
That's the one that means the most to him because it's the one he has.
the only one.
I can see him laughing in there as he walks away. He can hear me, but he can't say anything.
Sucker.
He's going to get it. Oh, dang. The reveal.
Let's get it.
Got a small collection right now, but it's all just the PS5. For some reason, that's the one I buy the games with. But,
there you go.
I just got this.
Oh,
bad boy.
hell
you go.
yes, dude.
That's a really nice cover too.
Yeah, it is.
Oh. Is that a
Did you-
Chinese English copy? I don't see an ESRB logo on that bad boy.
Oh, interesting. I didn't even notice.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah, actually, well, it's surprising that you mentioned that because I got it in the Philippines.
There you go. Yeah, that's probably why. Hmm.
Wow, that's
There you
that's
go.
a good catch.
Dude, this is
I
why
noticed
we brought
things.
this man on here.
Okay, so I have a special edition.
Yeah.
You do.
Are those region locked?
No.
just
Consoles
curious.
for the most part have been region locked for quite a
You
while
about to tell me
now.
I can't play this game?
No. Like PS4, Xbox One, Switch onward, those are all good. That was more of a thing of the past, thankfully.
I was like, did I just pay $70 for a fraudulent game?
No. I've played
Was it
plenty
$70
of
bucks
import
though, or
games.
was the exchange rate like different?
I think I paid more like 60ish, but yeah, it was pretty close.
Okay, yeah, that's a good deal.
So
Nice.
if you live in the Philippines and you don't make very much money, like a modern video game purchase is like a huge deal because they're not cheaper.
No, yeah, they're not cheaper.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
In fact, oftentimes, and it's not the case with games, but like certain technology is like even more expensive because it's exported out.
Mm.
Oh,
Like if you
yeah.
if you try to get like an iPhone or something, it's actually cheaper here in the States.
Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's sort of like the scale of like as far as how many people are going to be buying them en masse at one time allows you to sell them cheaper, I guess, in the area where you're going to sell a lot of them. So I suppose that does make sense. I was just mulling over this question. The one that people wouldn't expect, I do have. It's not that they wouldn't expect it necessarily. It's just not some. It's like I feel like it's a game that nobody really remembers. But I still have a number of my original N64 cartridges. They are mine, like from the day
That's
that
cool.
they were bought. They're all mine. I don't really collect for the 64, but I have it down there, and I've got whatever cartridges I have left. The most random one in there is Jet Force Gemini. You got any Jet Force
Yeah.
Gemini fans?
What is
That game is
Rareware.
so weird. Yeah, it's a rare
It's very
game.
weird.
Rare made it.
Oh, okay.
It's like you're like I don't know. You're like this seemingly like 15-year-old boy and girl flying and you're some kind of space ranger sort of, and you land on this planet where these human-sized ants are like brutally murdering koalas.
It's bonkers.
And,
That's a hell of a premise.
and you're like, hey, stop killing these little cute koala people, and you just fuck up the ants for however long the game is.
Hell yeah.
And it has
Okay.
those incredibly awkward early 3D game controls. You only have the one analog stick on the 64 controller, so you're like you can either move or stop and hold the trigger, and then the stick while you're holding the Z button. I believe the stick allows you to aim. If I'm remembering, maybe you can move and shoot at the same time. I can't remember it. It's been so long since I played it, but just odd. It's definitely the oddest. One of the more weird games that I own.
Also surprisingly accessible if you want to play it now. It's on Switch Online. It's on Rare Replay.
Yeah.
So it's
I
like
did
this is
play it
like
on my Switch.
a very accessible game.
Yeah, it's funny.
But it
It's
is a
like,
weird one.
no one's ever heard of it. Like very few people have ever heard of it, or if they do remember it, they're like, "Yeah, I played it for 20 minutes and it was really strange." You know, it's like,
That I turned it off.
and then they turned
well,
it
it's
off.
like
yeah.
it was like at the time it came out too, like especially as it relates to Rareware. You know, like they were known for so many other like more well-known games like Banjo and like
Mhm.
Donkey Kong 64 and stuff.
They had Perfect Dark as well, which was
Perfect
really
Dark,
good.
yeah. So that one, like they're almost like it's one of their like lesser known little titles that they worked on.
That came out in '99 as well. I forgot there's like a dog in it. There's like a little armored dog with a jetpack.
He's got like a tank on his back or something.
Yeah.
Or like a blaster, like a cannon.
It is something else, man. Just looking at some of the pictures, like holy shit, man, this game is nuts. This game
Yeah,
is
Rare
actually
has some
crazy.
weird ones once you look past the surface level.
Right? Yeah, it's a good point.
Shout out to
They really-
Grabbed by the Ghoulies.
Oh
Yeah.
shit! I forgot about Grabbed by the Ghoulies, man.
I remember that's like you talked about Hollywood Video earlier, Ian, which I have so many memories of back in the day because that was like our Blockbuster instead of Blockbuster. But I remember seeing Grabbed by the Ghoulies all the time at like Hollywood Video. Like I don't know why. Whenever I think of Hollywood Video and like
You
walking
see
through the
that-
shelves or whatever, I would see that cover.
And it was just always available. No one. Was ever
Yeah,
renting
all
it.
the time.
There was a few games that were just like, no one's ever renting
That
those.
and like Leisure Suit Larry, I remember a lot too.
Yes. Oh my god. Conker's Bad Fur Day. Going
Oh,
down
yeah.
that. Going down
Oh
that line.
gosh.
Game's so
Yeah.
good. So funny.
I didn't play it.
You should. It's great.
I should.
Speaking
I
of
should.
Rare,
hmm
Yeah, more. Yeah, God, it's crazy how much they made in such a
they
small
had
amount of time.
hits,
I mean,
dude.
they made more notable N64 games than Nintendo did, to be honest.
Honestly,
Yeah.
yeah. That's. I think you're totally.
They were kind of the golden goose for that era.
So
Mm-hmm.
the Golden
Yeah.
Eye.
Ah.
Ooh.
Dun-dun.
Yeah.
Cream Lord, to your other question, means the most. You know, I don't have anything that like would surprise anyone. I mean, I've got my original KOTOR and KOTOR 2 copies. I think the one that might mean the most I have is my original copy of Halo 2. It was the collector's steelbook.
Mhm.
It's got the like clear plastic sleeve that slip cover goes over it. And I remember to the day getting it when it came out because I was in like 7th grade, I think. It was like 04 when that came out. And that was still the time where I couldn't buy games for myself. And I got an A+ on a paper that I wrote. It was like I got like 105 out of 100 or whatever. And like my teacher wrote this thing on the side of like saying how much they enjoyed reading it and all this stuff. And so I showed that to my parents and like the next day when I came home, they had got me Halo 2 and it was that like collector's steel version. And I let out a blood-curdling, girly scream that probably
That's awesome.
pierced their ears, and mine. I might even have some tinnitus from that scream, because that was it. I mean, Halo 2 was the game. I was still playing Halo 1 right then, over and over and over and over and over again, because that's what you did when you were in 7th grade.
Mhm.
Right.
So to get that was like, I think it was only like a few weeks old, so it was still very much in the conscience, and I was just so excited. So that's probably one of the ones that are up there. A couple of fun ones I have, like I have Rome Total War and Medieval 2 Total War physically, and they have like 6 discs.
Hell yeah.
those
Yeah.
those big blocky PC games with just the
Mhm.
multiple disc holders on them as you go through and install each one on your computer. My gateway computer that I had back then. So, couple, the PC. Jeff mentioned that in his writing. Like some of the like old. I remember going to Fred Meyer Electronics section, which is Kroger's, like Fry's, here, and back when they used to have a ton of physical games for PC, and
Mhm.
those were the coolest boxes. They had the little Velcro front parts that opened up,
Yeah.
and you could like look, and then they had the back, and the slip covers had like 3D kind of embossed feeling or whatever. You could like
Mhm.
scratch it and feel the texture under it of the raised image. They went all out for PC games. Just about random ass PC games that I would never have wanted if I didn't see the box art, which is just not something that exists anymore. I feel like.
Dude, the big
Yeah.
box PC version of Daggerfall.
I know.
That's like I would love to own that.
Me and Taylor,
let me see
I've
it.
literally sent with it Taylor within the last week. I think I almost bought a copy on eBay. I'm like, I've been wanting one for so long too. Daggerfall has the best box art possibly.
We should have
ever.
went
It's
half
so
on it,
cool.
then we could do split custody.
They're sending back and forth every
Yeah.
month. No, yeah, that's probably the biggest thing I have not gotten into yet, and it's because I'm scared actually, and that's big box PC collecting.
Sure.
Because well, one, it takes up a lot of space, but two, it is like the Wild West, and as I've mentioned earlier, I only like to collect things complete, and it's gonna drive me crazy if I'm like missing an insert or a registration card or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like there's just so many printings and so many different releases and so many games. It's like nobody documented any of this stuff, so it's like you gotta do the research yourself. And after many months of searching, I have not found a copy of Daggerfall for sale with everything. Every time there's at least one insert missing, and I know I'm never going to just be able to buy that on its own, so I'm waiting for the perfect copy to go up for sale.
There is a factory sealed copy of Elder Scrolls 1 Arena, and it's $610.
That'd be pretty cool.
That would be cool to own too, though.
Wow.
The original Elder Scrolls.
I would like
That
to get them all,
Daggerfall though
so.
has like a weird holographic effect to it, like for the cover, and it's so pretty looking.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's cool. The original, this copy that I'm looking at of Elder Scrolls 1 that's factory sealed still has the sticker on the bottom that says $19.99 price. $20.
Damn.
Software $19.99. That's absolutely crazy. How cool is that?
I love stuff like that. Like I actually rarely take off like stickers of my games, especially if it's like old price stickers. I think it's kind of fun when they're on there. Like when you have like, a couple $100 game and it has the GameStop sticker for like $1.99 when they were just trying to give that thing away. I love stuff like that.
Oh, it's kind of like a bragging rights. You're like, suckers.
Right.
It's fun.
In the words of
Scorpion.
fucking Scorpion from Mortal Kombat Annihilation for some reason.
Do you mean the greatest movie ever made?
You probably heard the episode, but like I've never.
Yes.
Somebody sat around and thought that was the line we should give Scorpion in this movie.
So good.
Suckers!
When I was a kid, you couldn't convince me that wasn't the best movie ever made.
Oh, same, dude. I mean, it had Cyrax and Smoke in it. That's all you need. And
Cyrax is my favorite Mortal Kombat character. So
we are best friends.
exactly.
That is my favorite. That is my favorite character as well, and that's why I was really not loving Mortal Kombat 1.
Yeah, I haven't even gotten there yet. Mortal Kombat 1 is the only mainline Mortal Kombat that I haven't played like the full story mode for. I don't have the context. But
that was true for me as well before like a couple weeks ago. But yeah, some weird choices. I'll just leave it at that. Cool. I don't even know that I have too much more to go. I don't know if there's anything. Taylor, did you have anything thinking about this episode that you wanted to touch on that we haven't yet?
I think the only other thing I wanted to ask you, Craig, and kind of like pose to the audience in general is, what do you think? And you might have covered this earlier when you were kind of talking about how you collect nowadays, but like, last question I want to leave you on would ask, what do you think about the state of physical video game collecting in 2026, and what advice would you have for somebody that's like just starting out, like now? Like, let's say if they were like, I want to start collecting physical video games now, where would I start? Or like, where would be the best place to start?
Yeah, it's tough because, like I said, right now I think that it's more accessible than ever. More mom and pop shops are opening up. GameStop is starting to do their retro sections. There's always eBay, Mercari, all these different places. So it's like you have unlimited options if you're really wanting to get into retro collecting. I think the state of it is fantastic right now. Like I said, the only issue is pricing. There's a lot of expensive stuff, but really, there's tons of fantastic games for super cheap. If you know the right places to look, if you're patient. Not to do too much of a shameless plug, but there's an episode I did recently on my friend Bird Dog Gaming's channel. We do a show called Collective Perspective, and we did a video of like collectible games for like under $10 or $15 or something like that. And it's like there is tons of like Spyros and Tomb Raiders and like these really cool things that you would actually want to own, actually want to play, that you can get for cheap. So Of course, a lot of the cooler stuff, a lot of the Nintendo stuff is going to cost you more. Whether you do complete in box or loose is going to affect your pricing drastically. But there's plenty of deals to be had out there. I think if you're going to start collecting, I think that it's probably best to do it for something that you are passionate about. If you grew up with the PS2, you think the PS2 is the greatest console ever, great. Go ahead and collect PS2, right? Maybe see if you have fun going to these different game stores, hunting different things, try to find some of your favorite childhood favorites and then maybe expand out from there. But I was going to say one tip I want to give to people, and actually have a stack of games here to give my example.
Sweet.
This wasn't planned, but it works out because on my podcast, Generations Behind, we always do a pickup section. And my recent pickups was all from a store called Paymore. Do you guys have a Paymore by chance?
No, I've never even heard of them.
All right,
What
so
is
this
that?
is they are like a used electronics store. So you could buy computers there, consoles there, and games there. And they're always very tiny shops, but they have a beautiful thing called the budget wall. Now, what I have right here is 13 video games I got for $40. Let me show you these 13 games. Got Final Fantasy 15 on the Xbox One.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Rise
I
Son
love-
of Rome on the Xbox
Dude.
One.
There you go.
I love Xbox games.
Quantum Break on the Xbox One.
There you go.
Dude, you're speaking my language.
Dragon Age Origins Awakening, the expansion for PS3. Who doesn't love
Very cool.
DLC on disc? I always think that's super fun.
That is
cool.
sick.
Killzone Shadowfall, PS4.
Very nice.
We got
Exclusive.
Batman Arkham Knight, PS4.
Okay.
Nice.
Watch Dogs on PS4. This one's bad, but I still thought it'd be fun to have Green Lantern. Manhunters on Wii. Complete in box Genesis Madden 96. So it has
okay.
scorecards and different things in here, which I thought were neat. The Sega Dreamcast web browser.
Okay.
Call of Duty 3 on the PS2.
Oh, hell
Very cool.
Grand Theft Auto 4 on the 360. And Saints Row 2 on the 360.
Hell
That
yeah.
is about $130-ish worth of games I got for $40 just because of where I went to go.
I'll tell you what,
so-
you did not pay more.
No, exactly. So it's because they pay you more for selling. to them.
Hey.
But no,
Dude,
but
I actually have one really close by. I have 3 of them.
exactly,
really
and
close
it's like
by.
they do
How have I
deals
not
where
heard of
it'll be
this?
like 4 for 10 or 6 for 20 or different things like that. It kind of depends on the stores, and they have non-budget games as well. But it's like if you know where to go, and if you're patient, and if you're willing to maybe explore around your local area, you can get a lot of stuff for really cheap. It's like these are almost all very worthwhile games owning, playing, checking out, and it's like it cost me less than one brand new recent release video game. So it's like if you care about playing your video games, because I'm also honestly a firm believer that collecting video games and playing video games are two totally different hobbies. But if you care about playing your games and you don't want to break the bank, there are options out there. You just gotta be on the lookout. But gaming is not as expensive as you might think it is. Really, getting the consoles is the expensive part. You can find stuff, especially secondhand, for very affordable prices. So
Yeah, some people just don't even know what they have too.
Mhm.
Not that I'm advocating like ripping people off, but if someone wants to sell you a console for $100, that is a lot more than that.
exactly. I'm going to tell my friend's story.
Violence or
Who I mentioned earlier, I'm on his show sometimes, or not sometimes, I'm on it twice a month, but Bird Dog Gaming, my friend Christian, there's this game called Clay Fighter Sculptor's Cut for the N64, famously the most expensive game for that console for many years. I think right now it's worth over $1,000 for just a loose cartridge. And he got it, many years ago, I think in like a lot with a bunch of N64 games for like $30. And he was just like, oh, yeah, I'm going to
Crazy,
buy that.
dude.
And then he told me like a few days later, the person like reached out trying to buy it back. And he was like, if it makes you feel better, I'm not going to flip it. But then he kept it. And it's like, well, unfortunately, it's not his fault because the guy didn't do the research first. So
No, I mean, come on. You got to look at least a little bit.
exactly. But I always think that's funny. I'm like, that your response was, you can't have it back, but if it makes you feel better, I'm not going to sell it and make more money than you made off of me.
Honestly, that would make me feel better.
Exactly. Like he wasn't just getting bamboozled. It was going to somebody that actually wanted it and wanted to keep it. So
Man, some of those games are the ones that I have on a list. So that's awesome, dude. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I know 2 of those ones for sure I want to get at some point, Rise and Quantum Break, just because they're exclusive.
Dude, Rise is extraordinarily underrated. I've always thought the game was so fun.
That's what
I
I've
owned it
heard.
many years ago when I first got my original Xbox One, and I had such a blast with it. I'm always surprised that it doesn't get talked about more.
It still looks like it could have come out today too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I think it's partially because it's extremely limited in scope. It's pretty much just like a QTE game for the most part, but it was kind of a cool, part of that kind of forgotten Xbox One killer lineup at launch that just got totally overshadowed by the whole TV thing.
Unfortunate.
But man, they had a great launch for the Xbox One. There were so many good games.
Yeah, I'm
that
pretty
came
sure
out
there
with
was a
that
Forza. I think Dead Rising 3 was like a launch
Dead Rising
exclusive. They had some
3,
good stuff.
Rise, there was a bunch of great games that came out right as it did. So, it's all right. Well, now that because of their fuck ups, I get to collect for one of the cheaper consoles. So.
Yep.
Exactly.
Bright side of it all.
It's exactly, and it's Xbox games. I mean, I think they look cool on a shelf. I think the green really stands out. It's fun. The only thing I'm not huge on is the uniformity of the gray for Xbox One, but like 360 and original Xbox, I love the variety of colors and spines and stuff. I'm a big fan of that. So
yeah, me too. It is weird that
I hate
go
the
very uniform with it.
One thing I do hate about it is the disc being on the opposite side of where
so
it
weird.
usually would be, too.
it's always been so weird to me.
I like it because everyone hates it. I mean, I'm not normally like a contrarian, but there's something I think it's so funny that so many people like open up an Xbox One case and just have a small stroke. That I just think it's so funny that like such a small thing. I get it completely. Such a small thing can have such a collective like, what the.
You still know how many times I've opened up the disc expecting it to be right here and it goes and falls from the top of the thing.
Yeah,
it's like the roof falling off of it.
That's so true. It's I love this is the most random shit. Like 50, 60, 70 years from now, like there won't be an Xbox anymore probably, and we'll have those and be like, yeah, for some reason they just switched that shit up for one generation,
right.
and then they went right back. Oh, the series are back to the normal one, so it's just the one generation.
I like it. It's quirky, something different, but it does. I forget every time, and then I open it up and I'm confused for a second.
Like, what? It really doesn't make any sense at all. Yeah.
I want to give a suggestion to our friend Kyle here.
Okay.
Since you're not much of a physical person, something I think that would be fun for you. You mentioned hanging up pictures on your wall and you don't have to think about it again. One thing I used to have was a floating shelf with my top 5 favorite games of all time sitting on that shelf to be like kind of like a representative of like, these are my favorite things. I think that'd be something fun for you to maybe try. If you want to maybe try to dip your toes in collecting, but not go too deep. And then, like you said, it can hang on your wall and you don't have to worry about it. It's easy. So
Yeah, I would like to. I definitely want to, at the very least, purchase physical copies of like my all-time favorite games, just to at least have that.
That's how it starts.
That way you don't.
Yeah,
that's how.
Then it snowballs. But
no, I can't, man. Because I always just think about like when I'm gonna move and stuff. I'm like, I don't want to have to deal with all this.
oh, trust me, it's a nightmare.
Oh, it sucks.
Yeah.
I still remember when I first moved in with Alicia. I don't think she knew I loved video games and like nerdy stuff, but like didn't really know to the extent. And this is pretty early on, obviously, like when we first moved in together. And we were unpacking my stuff, and she was unpacking one of my boxes, and she pulled out my giant Witcher statue, which is Geralt killing the griffin. You know, he's on top of it. He's got the sword or whatever. And she like pulled it. This is huge. It's got the swords like sticking out, and I wrapped them up. I like the sword. One of the swords actually comes off so that it doesn't break. Like it snaps in and out purposely. So like I had that like wrapped up in a baggie and stuff. And she pulled that shit out and just like pulled out the baggie with this like weird like sword blade in it. And she said, "What did I just get myself into?" Right? It's like,
So
sorry. And we're gonna move these every time. I think I've shown this before. But,
Your neatly wrapped little tiny sword.
yeah, exactly. I've shown this off already, but this is like the most recent.
Ah,
Yeah.
Love it.
And
that's cool.
it doesn't. The crazy thing though is it doesn't come with They didn't make any physical copies of Marathon. None.
Shame.
Dude, that's what they've been doing lately with a lot of these collector's
honestly,
editions.
Though, in this instance, it kind of like fits the vibe of the game. But I was actually just looking
3D printed.
Yeah, no. I was actually just looking for like special controllers, and apparently PlayStation has a Marathon controller, but Xbox doesn't. Yeah,
they do.
Yeah, because it's a PlayStation.
I know. I'm just
property.
like, damn it.
Speaking of which, by the way, speaking of controllers, just got to say this: I got one of those anniversary PS5 controllers recently. God, I love that thing.
It's awesome. Yeah, I have it.
So sick. Oh, love
Man,
using
I'm jealous. It's classic, retro.
Yeah, gray.
Yeah.
Old
it's just
gray.
got the gray with like
man.
the colored buttons from the first DualShock. Oh.
Yeah.
I wish I could have gotten one of those consoles, like the Pro. I wish I should have just. Knowing everything that I know generally, I should have just bought one of those damn PS4 Pros or PS5 Pros. Sorry, of the 30th, because like they were $700.
Yeah,
and now they don't make them anymore, and the regular PS5 Pro is like $1,000 new or whatever.
Yeah,
man. I really hope eventually, maybe like someday, the price will go down after they release the next console. I don't know. Like, they just keep going up. Like,
I don't know if it's anything like the PS4 25th or like 20th anniversary one. That shit's still so expensive.
Well,
the like full blue one
for sure. Well, I just mean like even just a regular PS5 or like will these consoles ever get cheaper if you're not buying them used? I don't know.
I don't know.
This is kind of nuts, man. Never seen anything
That's
like
for
that.
us to find out, I guess.
Yeah.
Only
Time will tell.
All right, guys. I think we've mostly covered it. Before we head out, Craig, tell us a little bit about your podcast, because we do have. I'm finding out this week that we've got people listening to this show that I went to high school with. That I was like, you listen to this show every week? I was like, yeah, man. So. We got a decent number of people listening. Even the ones I don't know.
You have me listening every week. I listen every single week. So,
and if they're listening to me and Taylor and Kyle every week, they might, they might be like ready for something different. So I think you should tell us about your podcast before we get out of here.
Yeah. So, if you're looking for a bit more of a show with kind of an angle about older games, bi-weekly I do a show called Generations Behind with my good friends Zach and Tyler. We talk modern games as well, but for the most part our main topic of the show is usually either a review of a retro game or just kind of like a retro-centric topic, or like we'll do grab bags of like older consoles, be like we pick 3 games from the Sega Genesis that none of us have played for each other to play, and then we talk about it to kind of get like a vibe of what the console has to offer. So there's a billion gaming podcasts out there, so if you're looking for another one with maybe at least a bit of a focus on older stuff, maybe come and check us out. Might have a good time. Most recently we did an episode on Half-Life, so that was an interesting experience. Not gonna say it was a great experience, but it was an interesting experience. We always have a good time. Like I said, we talk about some modern stuff as well, but we try to keep it mostly retro. And I know retro is kind of a loose term too, because certain people have different parameters of what would they consider retro or not. But our kind of cutoff is like more like kind of like GameCube, Xbox, PS2 era and backwards is kind of our main focus. So
cool.
Pre-HD. So
that's a good point. Yeah, if it was running in. If it's running in 480p, that's probably retro.
You're right.
Exactly. And this is like, we always make the joke that episode 100 we'll finally do an episode on Fallout New Vegas, because we had someone write in about it one time saying that they considered it retro. So that's our promise, is episode 100.
My question is, when does retro turn to like unk slop? Like where's the
It's hard, right?
Gramp
It's hard
slop,
to find.
unk slop.
It's tough because
Taylor loves unk slop so much.
Dude,
so do I.
That meme kills me every time with that guy. Oh my god, kills me every time.
My favorite part about the Unkslop post is always like games that I love. I'm like, yep. I'm like, they're not wrong. This is definitely what I'm into.
Wall right behind me.
Exactly.
We're all unks at this point, but I'm curious because like there's definitely levels to it, right? I feel like it's retro, and then retro goes to unk slop right?
So it's hard because here's where I blow my
Retro's
own
old.
mind. I'm just like,
Retro's older, so I guess I should say Unkslap turns into retro.
yeah. So like
Gotcha.
PS3, let's look at
Yeah.
PS3, right? Came out in 2006.
Mhm.
I feel like 20 years ago you can consider that retro, right? Even if you don't want to admit it, that's probably
Right.
retro.
We're
But then you
getting
think about Persona 5 released on the PS3. That is not a retro game, but
Yeah.
or at least on what's old enough to be a retro console. So it's kind of a fuzzy area, honestly. But to
Mhm.
me, once you start getting past like the 15, 20 year mark, I think if you call it retro, I won't get super annoyed. I might feel gross because it makes me feel old.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you're in denial of the 360 and Wii and PS3 having some retro games and media on it, then I think
Oh,
you're a
we're
little
knocking
in
on its
denial
door,
at this
baby.
point.
It's almost here.
Mhm.
Yeah, 360 era, PS3 era. I mean,
Yeah.
it's retro. It's like, I don't know. I mean, I was in high school. I'm 35
Yeah.
years old. I mean, that's
Yeah.
there you go. I mean, it's
People
it's
were
20
calling the
years ago.
Super Nintendo retro when the GameCube came out, and it's like that's a much smaller time gap. So
Right.
I
Yeah,
think
it's a good
people just
point.
don't want to admit that they're getting old, and it's hard because we used to have bigger leaps in technology, and that's definitely not the case anymore. So I think it's harder for people to differentiate.
That's
you
a
know,
great point.
Once we became HD, that's where it's fuzzy for people for sure.
Yeah.
So
The line,
Yeah.
the kind of demarcation between generations
Mm-hmm.
too. It's like PS4 and then PS4 Pro, and then you had Xbox, and then you had
Mhm.
Xbox One, Xbox One X.
Yeah.
The
Then
mid-generation
it's
refresh
Mm.
changed the
Kind of
game.
kept.
It's a good
yeah.
point to make, yeah, because it's more. I feel like our generation had a huge leap when it comes to like hardware, right?
Mhm.
And then like this newer generation, it's like a little bit more nuanced. It's like more about like software leaps rather than
Mhm.
hardware leaps, So it's not as physically tangible, so it doesn't look like as big of a change, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you compare, like I said, a Super Nintendo game to a GameCube game. There's a clear difference. You compare, Halo 4 to Halo Infinite. It's like, yeah, it looks better, sounds better, runs better.
Only a little bit.
But
But not much. Yeah,
exactly,
I mean,
not nearly as much as jump between other games in past
Yeah, we're getting
generations.
pretty close to that point to where it's like, even if the technology gets better, it's still going to look the same to our, to our eyes.
Mhm.
Yeah, the only hardware change like that was significant with this most recent the current generation was they all got solid state hard drives in them. So
Yeah.
loading times that was the big thing for new generation. It's like oh it loads fast.
I know. I was looking
Got it.
forward to consistent 60 FPS on every game, and we didn't even get
Oh
that.
my
So
god, we definitely didn't.
that's all I wanted. I'd rather wait a couple, another 10 seconds and have my game run better.
They just keep pushing. They're pushing the fidelity stuff beyond wherever they are constantly. So it's like they can't seem to get to 60 frames per second. on a
I've
lot of
never
games.
played a game in quality mode. I choose performance every time.
Only once. I have one game that I ever played in quality mode because it actually made that much of a difference out of all the dozens and dozens and dozens of games that I agree I play in performance
Yeah,
mode.
quality
every
mode
time.
seems like more of a PC thing if you have all the right gear.
Well, with PC, if
And
you have a
even
good
then-
PC, then you can play it at 60 or more. And
Frames win games, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Agreed. Yeah, totally agree with that. The only game I ever, the only single player or really any game ever that I chose the quality over the performance was Assassin's Creed Shadows
Oh.
because the difference was utterly shocking. I was like, that's Assassin's Creed Shadows is probably the single best looking game I've ever played or seen.
Wow.
Wow.
Just
That's
from
crazy.
fidelity. I mean, it's like a really solid, fun 7.5, 8 out of 10, like action third person. There's nothing like blow your mind about the story or whatever, but like just when you click that over to the fidelity, because it's like all real world, real time lighting. So like when you're going through the bamboo forest and the sunlight and the rays are going through each individual like angle and hitting, and then they move with the wind and stuff like that, and like the way that it hits, and her hair is all animated. It was just like, it just felt like kind of like, hey, this is what we can do with this technology in this box right now.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool, but I wished, like, if I played it again, I'd switch it. But it was that mark of a difference. A lot of the times,
Interesting.
I don't see it as that big of a difference. Like
No.
I'll see the quality. I'm like, it runs like shit because it's 30 frames a second. and I just can't really see the difference between that and the performance, but I can feel those frames.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
That's like the only game I've ever played where I was like, I might actually switch back to the quality mode, surprisingly.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it was crazy. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thank you. Craig, thank you again for joining us, man. It's great to have you on.
Appreciate it.
We love having you on. We're going to try and maybe do a little bit more guest work when we can. So we
For sure.
really enjoy just the new dynamic and everything. Bringing you were able to identify the Filipino version of Ghost of Yote. I mean, holy shit!
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I would love to be on any time. Just let me know. I have an idea for an episode I gave to Taylor, actually.
Oh shit! Okay.
I could say it here just to see what you think.
Sure.
Actually, my idea was me and Taylor to come up with a short list of JRPGs that we think you two would actually enjoy.
All right. I mean, I will try anything. I've always said that, and with an open mind. I won't be like whatever. Like I'll play it.
But I think it'd be fun for me and him to try to sell you guys on something you guys usually aren't into. So
Taylor has a hard time with this. Like every
It's gonna
time
be tough.
He comes
I'll
up.
tell you
with,
right
like,
now, Craig.
He'll
I'm up
find
for the
one
challenge.
And be like, I don't know if he's gonna like it.
I don't know, Jim.
I don't know, Jim.
I don't know, Jim.
He's not gonna like the anime.
But yes, thank you so much for having me. I had a great time hanging out with you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's great, man.
Love having you on. That would be a lot of fun. So maybe start trying to think. I'm good luck with a list. Maybe just try one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fair
I was gonna
enough.
say.
And then we'll go from there. It's so funny because like I was watching the State of Play, and actually the State of Play wasn't bad at all. But like a lot of the times the State of Plays will have a lot of like the free to play
Anime slop.
like super anime
Genshin slop.
Genshin, yeah, that kind of stuff, and like that stuff comes on, and even Alicia, who like isn't paying that much, she'll be like, "Oh, are you gonna skip this part?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, we're
That's the P. That's the P break.
For
right
what it's
there.
worth, I skipped that part, so I think that says a lot. Too.
No, me too. I was gonna say
Yeah.
that anime
I
games
know.
are not created equally.
No.
And I know I'm well aware of that. I know that there's incredible, amazing games. Obviously, some of the greatest games of all time are JRPGs. Like I can split the difference between objective and subjective.
It's funny you mentioned that, Ian, because when we decided to watch State of Play when Marathon was down, I think we started around the same time because.
Yeah, I was like barely ahead of you. I was like one game ahead of you.
But we were always somehow onto the same game because we both were fast forwarding at the same time.
Oh yeah.
Because anytime you would comment, I'd be like, "Oh, I'm on that game too," even though I fast forwarded.
That's funny.
So we were just
funny.
like on the same page.
Yeah, and it's perfect. We're like perfect ones to watch these things together because we know we're like, we don't need to see this.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the trailers before a movie. Every time it's over, you look over and you go, "Ow,
Yeah.
I'm good." Like, oh, I can't wait for that one.
Yeah.
All right, I've been trying to get out of here for like the last 20 minutes, but you guys are fun to talk to. We can
Sorry.
keep going. So no, I'm just as guilty as anyone else. Awesome. All right, we will catch you guys next week. So next week, please do tune in. We're gonna have a huge episode. We're gonna be covering both the State of Play that came out yesterday and the Xbox showcase that is coming on Sunday morning, 10 a.m. Pacific. So we're going to go over both of those shows. So maybe we'll try and start a little early, and that's going to be a long episode. So prepare yourselves. If you haven't watched State of Play, go check it out, or at least check out an IGN video that shows you everything that got announced, and then check out the Xbox showcase if you're interested, and bring your write-ins, bring your opinions, bring your thoughts, bring everything. And we want to hear from you guys next week. So we'll have a huge episode next week. We're super excited for that one. But until then, I hope you all have a wonderful, safe weekend. And we will catch you later.
See you guys. Stay safe.
Take care.
Later, guys.